power bows to rails, not to prayers. You were told that good intentions move people. They don't. Structures do. Scarcity does. Deadlines do. Costs do. The most forbidden mindset is simple and cold. Design the room so the choice is made before the talking begins. When time is a wall, when access is a narrow door, when price is posted, the world bends. Not because it loves you, but because it has to walk the path you built. Architecture over virtue. Chairs decide before speeches do. Put the head seat facing the door, not the wall. Place 2 empty chairs at your left. Vacancies speak power louder than slogans. A single paper rests in front of you. 3 columns, only owner, date, test. Everything else can wait. The clock is visible to all, and the meeting invite ends 5 minutes before the hour. Not on it. People watch the edges, where to sit, where to stand, who can see the screen, who must turn their neck to speak. Access lists say more than compliments. If your calendar shows scarce windows, you become a constraint they must respect. You don't persuade with adjectives, you persuade with layout. Rooms obey geometry because geometry cannot be debated. A chair is a law disguised as furniture. A door is a sentence without verbs. Scarcity is a sentence. The rarer your presence, the heavier your visit. You hold office hours on Thursdays, 10 to noon. Outside that, decisions wait. Your message replies are short, timed, and predictable. People learn your rhythm. They aim for it. They fear missing it. You show up unannounced to observe, not to explain. Scarcity compresses noise into preparation. The performer resents it. The builder appreciates it. Sales calls end at minute 16, whether the pitch is finished or not. A narrow window carves fat from talk. A contractor who knows that a missed slot drops them to the back of the queue plans backward from your clock. Your silence between windows becomes instruction. Your quiet is not absence. It is the metronome that keeps the city in step. Cost before plea. Talk moves hearts, price moves hands. You post penalties in plain language before anyone offends. Late deliverable, loss of priority for 1 cycle. Leak, ban from pre-briefs for a quarter. Missed metric, automatic scope rollback. No speeches, no theatre. The bill arrives on time, the way the sun sets impersonal and certain. People do their own math. Defiance is expensive, compliance cheaper. In a startup, this prevents slackers from living off the conscientious. In a family, a posted curfew with a known consequence calms the kitchen. Less arguing, more planning. In a council, a budget cut tied to missed milestones ends the endless pleading because the ledger has spoken. This is not cruelty. Cruelty enjoys pain. Structure prevents it. When costs are clear, fewer people walk into them. When edges are felt, fewer egos act like storms. Understand the psychology you are exploiting. Minds seek the path of least resistance, especially under pressure. If the rails are strong, the easiest path is the one you want. When the window is small, they arrive ready. When the price is fixed, they stop bargaining with your patience. When the clock is visible, they stop gambling with your morning. You do not need to dominate with volume. You need to dominate with physics. You do not need to win the argument. You need to design the corridor the argument must walk through. So you will be good, but you will be clear. You will be kind, but you will be scarce. You will be fair, but you will be priced. Publish the edges first, then speak. Set the chair, then the tone. Set the window, then the word. Let the calendar carry your authority where your voice would spill it. Let the posted cost do what your anger never could. Do not seek credit, seek compliance with the rails. In a season, they will call you reliable. In a year, rooms will steady as you enter, not because they adore your heart, but because they recognize your map. Build the rails, and the room will walk. Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are. You want to believe in universal goodwill. You want to trust that decent intentions will carry the day and that your openness will be met with care. That is the soft door thieves prefer. People are mixtures of appetite and restraint, and appetite learns fastest from unpriced kindness. If you would keep order, separate private decency from public law, and bind both with sequence and consequence, the goodwill fantasy begins with your better angels. You forgive the first breach to be humane. You let a late arrival pass for the team. You overlook the third small theft because times are hard. The room applauds your heart and takes notes on your price. Kindness without terms becomes a coupon. The opportunist saves it for the hour you are tired. The diligent notice that discipline funds charm. Soon the institution leans toward the loud, not the loyal. Forensic truth. Motive is a poor governor. Cost is a sturdy one. In private, you can listen, counsel, lift. In public, you must post rules that bite. Tie mercy to restitution with a clock. One warning with repair. A second with probation and milestones. A third with consequence that actually arrives. Do not mistake pity for policy. Order is the form that protects the many from the few. Next, transparency as ammunition. You have been told that explaining everything creates safety. It does not. When you overshare plans and pressures, you draw a map for sabotage. Competitors schedule feints 2 days before your posted launch. Petitioners time their asks for your weary hour. An investor reads your letter for tremors and presses at the softest verb. Honesty becomes a dumping ground for leverage, and leverage migrates quickly to those who risk the least. The remedy is timing, not silence. Practice staggered reveals. Share outcomes and law, what changes, when, and what it costs to ignore. Tier access by stake. Operators who bear error receive schematics. Spectators receive the scoreboard. Publish principles, conceal triggers and thresholds unless you will enforce them the instant they are crossed. If you must teach your reasoning, do so after the move as doctrine, not before as vulnerability. Candor should aid execution, not rehearse your defeat. Now, the explanation trap. A slight happens, a missed payment, a public jab, a partner who forgets the clause. You answer with paragraphs. They soothe you, they arm them. Every extra sentence becomes collateral against you. You confess the constraints that will push you to compromise. You telegraph the phrase that makes you blink. You announce the hour you will think. Words that do not purchase action, buy your surrender instead. Prosecutorial rule. Speak like a verdict, not a diary. One line of rule, one of timing, one of consequence. If there is an appeal, define the door and the deadline. Educate after enforcement, not before. Explanations are a currency. Spend them only where they purchase execution. Else they become a relief for the speaker and a playbook for the listener. What calms a city is not goodwill speeches, transparency floods, or eloquent defenses. What calms is counter-comfort, limited access, fixed cadence, predictable settlement. Limited access preserves mystique and room to maneuver. Fix office hours and defend them. Move decisions onto a schedule that resists lobbying. Rulings on Tuesdays, audits on the 1st, renewals at quarter's end. When the hour is set, please sound like rain on steel, heard, measured, irrelevant to the clock. Fixed cadence turns fog into climate. People adapt to timetables that do not bargain. They bring facts, not drama, because drama does not alter a calendar. Predictable settlement converts disputes into arithmetic. Post prices for breaches and collect without theatre. Small, certain costs beat large, occasional displays. When someone demands more context, ask, what decision will you make with it, and by when? If the answer is missed, reduce the light. If it is concrete, Deliver only the dosage required. Modern rooms reveal the pattern. A manager who keeps it real by live narrating doubts becomes programmable. Her team times ambushes to her tired minutes and wins exceptions with the right incantation. She regains control by shrinking commentary to outcomes, posting a board of promises kept, task, owner, date, green or red, and letting the wall discipline the room. A founder who streams roadmaps for trust discovers competitors claiming her headline 2 days early and users weaponizing her confession to negotiate price. She pivots to staggered reveals, hard milestones, and penalties that arrive on schedule. A city that paused fines for compassion watched abuse become the normal. It restored progressive penalties with random audits, and reliability returned faster than applause. Keep private decency. Armor public order. Praise in private to feed character. Standards in public to feed fairness. Tie voice to stake. The more someone bears cost, the more they speak. Tie access to performance, the reliable move closer, the charming move to the gallery. Tie forgiveness to labor repair before reunion, dated and signed. When you punish, do it once and be done. When you forgive, schedule inspection. Accept the names they will call you. Cold, when you choose a modest certain cost over a grand public meltdown. Secretive, when you trade preemptive confession for post-mortem doctrine. Harsh, when you close the coupon shop that rewards audacity. Better these words than a house that begs the sky for permission to stand. You can keep your warmth. You can keep your truth, but you must keep your edge. The doctrine is simple. Do not assume goodwill. Price behavior. Do not dump information. Sequence it. Do not plead your case. Publish your law. Build corridors only you walk, and clocks only you set. When storms come, the sentimental drown first. The unguardedly kind, the permanently open, the endlessly explaining. Or you can be the figure the weather cannot move, speech rare, standards, public, settlement on time. Let hope live in private rooms, and law live at the gate. The city will grow quiet under a sky that does not change with the mood, and those who wish to test you will find the cost higher than the sport. Less faith, more schedule, fewer words, firmer law. Men judge generally more by the eye than by the hand. Niccolò Machiavelli's strategy dies not from enemies first, but from appetites wearing good clothes. You wish to be liked, to be the hero, to fill quiet with cleverness, to stand in the spotlight. These are soft hands writing hard policy. The state cannot be steered by feelings without paying interest. Bind each craving to a ritual, make the ritual stronger than your mood, and the map will outlast your nerves. Approval addiction, scarce speech. Clinical, pitiless diagnosis. When you crave affection, your rules blur and your emails bloom into apology gardens. You pour context where consequence should stand. For now, roughly, we'll see. These are holes cut into your own fence. Offenders learn the currency. Press your image and the price drops. Partners learn the technique. Ask for transparency. Receive leverage disguised as conversation. Your people learn that performance is negotiable if they can make you feel humane. Replace indulgence with the one-breath order. Owner, date, test. Owner who carries the load and cannot pass it back without ceremony. Date the moment the world will judge and the promise ends. Test the number that settles the argument. Ops owns rollback by May 30. Pass at MTTR under 15 minutes. Sales owns the pilot by July 12. Add features after 3 paid signups. Security owns audit on September 1. Success at 0 criticals. Else freeze deploys. Until cleared. If a decision needs multiple paragraphs, you have not decided, you have performed. Performance invites negotiation. Governance ends it. Modern scenes are blunt. A customer pushes for just a little scope creep. Old you narrates sacrifice. New you states the order and price. Feature moves only after paid pilot, otherwise decline. A board member questions the bar. Old you explains intent. New you sets the trial. Launch August 8. NPS is greater than or equal to 45. Else revert Friday and publish post-mortem. Scarce speech hardens the edge. It teaches adversaries that silence is not a vacancy. It is a cost. Savior reflex boundary ritual. Candle lit, interrogatory truth. Rescuing feels holy because gratitude is immediate. You enter the Slack channel, you calm the call, you sign a waiver with the treasury of the many. The room cheers, the system weakens. Dependence finds your door. Repeat crises become bargaining chips. Those who fear standards learn to summon your cape. Convert mercy into measurement. Probation, restitution, deadline. Probation, the rescued unit loses freedom while competence returns. Fewer initiatives, tighter reviews, a halt on custom promises. Restitution, the commons gains an asset. Documentation, automation, training, instrumentation, a payment that prevents the same fire. Deadline, the uninstall date for the exception, written at the start. No PRD, no rescue. Your care is no longer a favor, it is a contract with the city. Examples, cut clear lines. Sales claims a bespoke feature will save the quarter. You reply with PRD, probation, no new custom for 90 days. Restitution, publish the no custom playbook and measure true cost. Deadline, auto-delete the feature in 90 days unless 2 paying customers adopt. Or a manager avoids a hard review and begs your voice. You refuse the performance and enforce ritual. Probation, manager loses hiring authority this month. Restitution, complete feedback training, script the talk, deliver with a witness, file outcomes within 24 hours. Deadline, performance plan decision by the 15th. When help becomes governance, gratitude becomes optional and order survives. Silence, anxiety, timing engine, metronomic and precise. You treat quiet like judgment and rush to drown it. Babbling leaks flaws, hedging invites pushes, jokes sell discounts. The rival does not need spies, they need your mouth under pressure. Install 3 pauses and make them law. Short pause, value words. 3 breaths, then 1 priced sentence. Runway, 15 months. 19, if we freeze experiments, price is slower learning. The pause signals that you have a clock and they cannot wind it. Long pause, draw confession. After you state the boundary or cost, count to 7. Watch who fills the gap with their flaw, their fear, their true ask. People reveal themselves to escape your stillness. Final pause, close the room. Repeat the line once. Write the decision. Move the agenda. The door shuts not with thunder but with a latch. Practice where the heat lives. Investor fishing for comfort. You state the number, wait, and let their real concern walk into the air. Journalist fishing for roadmap. We discuss post-validation. Wait. If pushed, you end the call. Partner threatening churn. Price holds. Concession requires prepay. Wait. If they rage, the clock keeps its rhythm. Stillness stops paying ransom to nerves and starts collecting rent. Spotlight hunger, credit discipline, austere realism, applause, mortgages control. When you chase public wins, you mint promises the treasury must later fund. Applause spends, predictability accrues. Redirect the light while you hold the rails. 3 habits secure the switch. First, name owners early and let them speak. You keep time. Second, praise across, not up. Credit platform, operations, and cross-team glue, not your persona. Third, hold cadence in quiet. Protect deep work on the calendar. Enforce reversal protocols. Keep the bar on bad days. You become a metronome, not a soloist. Coalitions defend schedules that made them credible. Examples make the geometry visible. A conference invites your keynote. You send the builder with the metrics and take the dinner where terms are set, then leave early. A viral thread calls you visionary. You reply with release notes, dates, gates, tests, and links to the team's docs. Your name shrinks, your authority thickens. Those who love cameras drift toward the press. Those who love order drift toward you. Prestige accrues to predictability. Tie the rituals into a single spine. Scarce speech removes handles from your body. Boundary ritual turns mercy into law and closes the chronic doors. The timing engine moves advantage from nerves to structure. Silence begins to work for you. Credit discipline buys defenders whose reputations rest on rails that hold. Where policy once chased your feelings now sit behind policy like weather behind stone. Expect revolt from within. Approval will draft a longer email. Vanity will itch for one heroic save. Anxiety will begin to fill the quiet. Ego will tilt your chin to the light. Treat urges like rain. You are climate. The rituals are mountains. Mountains do not debate storms. They shape them. Practice until the procedures run without your permission. Daily drill fixes the spine. Morning. Write 2 one-breath decisions. Owner, date, test. Midday. Execute 1. PRD rescue, end-to-end, and log it. Afternoon. Run 3 timing cycles, short, long, final in low-stakes calls. Evening. Publish credit outward to builders and update your reversal ledger privately. Repeat for months. Respect moves address from your charm to your calendar. Over time, the room changes temperature. People stop lobbying feelings and start aligning to law. Stars learn that standards do not blink. Quiet workers trust the ground. Partners discover you can be warm and unreadable. Rivals discover you can be silent and decisive. You speak less and are believed more. You promise less and deliver more. Strategy returns to the throne because appetite has been given a seat, a leash, and a job. Short orders, steady rails. It is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both. You begin by chasing affection and curating a narrative. A late deliverable waived, a weekend favor approved. A discount granted, just this once, another once, and another. Exception breeds exception, breathless, staccato, grant, adjust, clarify, reverse, apologize, repeat. The rule that should be stone softens into wax beneath warm praise, and the wax keeps every fingerprint. You feel humane. The city sees a sale. Order does not die in a riot. It leaks from kind holes. A freeze is declared. No changes until ship. By noon, a marquee client pleads uniqueness. By dusk, unique is a road with lanes. Engineers build the feature, then build the exception to the feature, then build the patch to keep the exception from breaking the feature. Operations slides, weekends like chairs. Finance stops forecasting outcomes and starts forecasting your mood. Fairness dies first. The quiet wait while sirens cut the line. The diligent pay the bill for applause. You try to mend the leak with more words. A crisp memo, then a Q&A to clarify the memo, then an AMA to soothe the feelings the Q&A stirred. Each paragraph buys minutes of calm and sells weeks of leverage. People over process, you write. They hear process is optional. Transparency, you promise. They read renegotiate life. The more you explain, the lighter your word becomes. The lighter it becomes, the more you explain. The spiral is not vicious by accident, your breath fuels it. Rivals study you with cold patience. They are not angry, they are exact. They watch what moves you: guilt, time, praise, and time their knocks to your pulse. A swollen quote lands at 4:58 p.m. on quarter close. You pay to protect the story. A sorrowful open letter appears the morning a reporter calls. You contextualize on camera and trim the rule live. A celebrity tags your empathetic leadership on Sunday. You overcorrect on Monday with credits and scope. They do not need to beat your law if they can schedule your conscience. They catalog your calls like traders logging ticks. When you repeat transparency 3 times, a reversal is loading short the decision. When you announce open office hours under pressure, scope will shrink in public, enter with maximal asks. When you write nuance, a delay can be priced, sell patience high. When you post, we're listening, the deadline will move, buy more time and concessions now. Your pattern becomes their script, your kindness, an instrument they play for yield. Inside, arbitrage becomes culture. Middle managers escalate in group channels because you pay a harmony premium when watched. Senior staff schedule quick clarifications at day's end because fatigue discounts your no. New hires learn the folkways faster than the workflows. Be gracious in private, urgent in public, grateful in writing, demanding in meetings. The principle dim, the theatrical thrive. You are not leading, you are hosting. The schedule rots politely. Consider 2 scenes. First, launch week, morning, scope freeze. Noon, a marquee account reframes a change as misunderstanding. You approve a minor tweak. Night support publishes a workaround. The freeze melts on camera, and the snow returns next quarter as flood. Second, compliance. You declare no third-party access this quarter. A partner whispers, mutual trust, and a one-time pass enters a side door, breeding a paper family of cousins who all claim ancestry. Each exception has grandchildren. Then the record turns judge, grim, judicial. A room called alignment, cool as steel. Screens glow. Your archive testifies. Emails, apologies, one last chance, memos, late-night DMs, all present, all dated. A director advances a slide. Audience, statement, counterstatement, outcome. Which was binding? You reach for motive, they reach for math. Another slide lists costs, slipped launches, duplicate builds, security drift, credits issued to pacify commentary, reputation discounted for volatility. Your narrative meets the ledger wins. They read you to yourself. Email, no scope changes after code freeze. April 3. Slack, do what it takes for strategic accounts. April 4. All hands, no third-party access this quarter. April 10. DM, one-time integration to honor trust. April 12. Support note, credit issued to resolve confusion. April 15. Sensible alone, incoherent together. Verbosity writes its own indictments. Good intentions are acknowledged, then priced as unreliability. Contrast plays in a quiet reel. Leaders who kept to the ledger. They speak once, in lines that carry weather. Clarifications are 1 paragraph. Once, within 24 hours. No public forum rewrites law. Forums ask, policy answers later. Once. Exception ledgers sit openly with caps. Midnight is a wall, not a window. Freezes live behind a triad law. Finance, operations with vetoes that cannot be charmed. Their people build once. Rivals misprice their calm and lose money on gambits that used to win. Now the collateral damage the city's quiet tax. A junior engineer who honored the freeze watches her roadmap reopened by a VIP's sigh. Her promotion slides to the firefighter who lit 2 fires and filmed 1 rescue. A support agent who told the truth is overruled by a temporary credit that returns each quarter with a new mask. A product manager budgets carefully and loses his funds to a last-minute panic, and you are rewarded on stage. A parent misses bedtime because your midnight clarity thread moved tomorrow's line. These are not anecdotes, they are receipts. Morale doesn't collapse on with noise, it evaporates in silence. Talent drifts to steadier shores. Budgets burn like votive candles at the altar of just this once. The fair-minded stop arguing and start leaving. They do not hate you. They cannot trust your clock. When rules don't bite, betrayal looks rational. When outcomes wobble, narratives multiply. You become generous with apologies and impoverished in authority. There is remedy, and it begins where stories end. In stone, speak once, promise little, deliver exactly. Make exceptions rare, expensive, and visible to all. Replace apology budgets with enforcement budgets. Publish an exception ledger with categories, caps, and quarterly totals. Lock freeze behind the triad with vetoes that do not blink. Ban live renegotiation. Public stages cannot rewrite law. Move your calendar from sponge to gate. Install quiet hours where the state cannot be petitioned. Practice where it hurts. A celebrity client sneers unless you bend compliance. You decline on record. A partner drags talks to 11:59 p.m. You let midnight arrive and the deal expires. A beloved team pleads for a late pivot that would wreck the quarter. You hold the line and hold their dignity while you say no. An internal star drops a clever insult. You stop the meeting, invoice the breach, and resume tomorrow with one rule for all. Some will leave, most will stay. All will learn the price of your yes and the reality of your no. Build engines that outlast charm, triaged queues, on-call rotations, one-paragraph clarifications, post-mortems without theatre and with restitution, a promotion criteria that reward steady builders over heroic pyromaniacs. Teach the difference between mercy and leakage. Mercy names a small, visible cost to protect the many. Leakage hides the cost and charges the diligent interest. When your word is stone and your exceptions costly, rivals mistime their theatrics, factions retire brinkmanship, and the market edits its model. Volatility down, execution up. Affection is pleasant, steadiness is sovereign. Give the eye one image coherence, and let the hand feel outcomes that do not flinch. Then fairness returns, schedules harden, and betrayal loses its logic. The crown grows heavy in the right way, weight as reminder, not bruise as burden. The city will stop performing leadership and begin living under it again. Be warm in spirit, iron in law. Everyone sees what you appear to be, few experience what you really are. You were taught to collect smiles, to glow on cue, to keep soft edges so no one could claim a bruise. But authority is not applause. Authority is reliability, dates kept, prices posted, consequences applied so people plan around you without flinching. Pivot from needing to be liked to needing to be believed. The city sleeps not because it loves the watchman, but because his rounds arrive on time. Respect before affection. Define your worth as delivery under pressure. Anyone can promise when the skies are blue. Governing begins when the wind tilts the mast. In a drifting team, you post two numbers in daylight, deadline and scope. If risk rises, scope shrinks or resources rise. If the date must move, it moves with signatures, not whispers. Owners are named, decisions logged, follow-up scheduled, where the whole crew can see them. You do not scold, you correct. You do not posture, you ship. After 2 cycles, the air changes, fewer apologies, tighter handoffs, cleaner endings because the calendar stops lying and your eyes begin to mean weatherproof. Carry the same law into your personal life. Return calls when you said you would. Arrive and leave on time. Refuse to sell your sleep to midnight storms you did not cause. When a boundary is crossed, a confidence spilled, a contempt joke in public, you do not hold a trial of feelings. You restate the rule, apply the posted cost, and resume your pace. Affection that belongs adapts to climate. Affection that demands weather control is a liability. Let applause follow outcomes or not at all. Either way, outcomes must arrive. Make delivery your identity. Track promises like freight, not fireworks. Under-promise by design. Over-deliver by an honest inch. When conditions change, renegotiate before failure, not after. Your name should quietly translate to the phrase, arrives when expected. This is not romance. It is peaceful. Ambiguity as shield. Use layered access and sequenced truth to protect decisions from sabotage. Words spend coins, silence banks it for decisive moments. Brief by rings, the outer circle receives the mission and next step. The inner circle receives rationale, constraints, and the two likeliest risks. The core receives uncertainties, contingencies, and triggers for retreat. Engines drown when flooded, so do counsels. Staggered reveals synchronize attention with reality and deny opportunists the oxygen of chaos. In negotiation, set the board with one clean sentence, 12-month agreement with penalties for late delivery. Then ask a precise question, what will you commit? Then you wait. The anxious reveal price. The arrogant reveal entitlement. The prepared reveal structure. Your silence becomes a mirror they cannot escape. If leaks appear, you planted harmless markers, distinct phrasing in non-critical memos, unique file names to track the path without spectacle. When the trail glows, you redraw access. You do not rage, you re-engineer the gate. Guard your time like a city gate. Calendar as fortress, office hours, limited slots, crisp agendas. Meetings without decisions die at the threshold. Inbox as customs. Each message declares goal, constraint, and decision requested, or it returns to sender. Respond in windows you choose, not on a leash. Online, publish the rule once, enforce it twice, and let your record speak thereafter. Mystery is not ego. It is fireproofing around the powder so the volley remains yours to choose. Edged decency. Knit humanity to rails. Praise in public. Enforce in private. Document always. Ceremony turns mood into law and spares dignity on both sides. Write a code a newcomer learns before lunch. Tell the truth early. Start and end on time. Escalate blocks within 24 hours. Never punish messengers. Attach tariffs. First, misremediate and document. Second, removal from the critical path. Willful breach role redesign or exit. Enforcement is brief and exact, not theatrical. Praise names the behavior, the benefit, and the owner. It travels farther than scolding and trains the room to copy what works. Work the code in practice. A handoff fails and a customer pays. The junior owns the error and asks for help. Mercy arrives with a contract, 2 cycles shadowing a senior, a shipped checklist, weekly reports, and a checkpoint by the 15th. If the metrics improve, privileges return. If not, duties change and access narrows. Kindness without consequence is a subsidy for drift. Kindness with terms is repair. In the same quarter, a repeat offender blames the calendar again. Access retracts for a season. Retraining requires proof before return or replacement follows. You are not angry. You are consistent. Bring the rails home. Money has a budget. Phones sleep outside bedrooms. Guests respect the table's peace. If a line is crossed, the posted cost applies. No sermons, no improvisation. A teenager who breaks curfew gives notice beforehand and accepts a weekend freeze. A relative who turns dinner into a tribunal hosts the next meal under your rules. Phones parked, topics bounded, end time set. Forgiveness is not erasure, it is supervised rebuild with a final date. Mercy with closure keeps love from drowning in exceptions. Understand what being believed truly means. It is not fear of your temper, it is confidence that your edges will not warp under heat. People curb their worst impulses because the rails are real and the settlement is impartial. The room relaxes into productivity because your word keeps its own weather. You become a metronome. The song around you tightens. This is the pivot, from needing to be liked to needing to be believed. Authority as reliability, mystery as safety, decency with edges, promise little, deliver exactly, speak once, enforce quietly, document always. Let those who require charm find theatre. You are building a timetable a city can sleep under. Be believed because you deliver. It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. Fear here means certainty. You do not terrorize, you standardize. You build rails so tight that obedience is cheaper than defiance. Frame the path, signal the turn, settle the toll. Repeat until your calm becomes climate and rooms move themselves. Begin with the 3 signals: decision, boundary, settlement, drill, Sergeant Crisp. Decision is one line naming owner, date, and test. Subject, action, deadline, proof. Ops files incident report by 3 p.m. Fire a link in channel. Ship the patch Friday 4 p.m. You build number posted. The test kills smoke and invites closure. Boundary is your if X then Y rule, pre-announced, no exceptions. If scope expands, timeline expands. If payment slips, delivery pauses. If voices rise, the meeting ends. The sentence is short so your nerves can reach it under heat. Settlement is the cost you promised, applied once, quietly, on time. After day 8 unpaid, work freezes. After second failed QA, we roll back and lock merges for one sprint. Not a sermon. A switch. Use the signals everywhere. In a sprint, QA seals Thursday noon RENA checklist screenshot. If tests fail twice, rollback fires and calendars shift. No scolding tour. In client work. Draft by Tuesday 3 p.m. Me PDF in shared folder. Requests after sign-off trigger a posted change order and a new date. At home, device-free dinner at 7 US phones in basket. Late cancel inside 30 minutes. Next dinner. It moves a week. People learn faster from certainty than from enthusiasm. Next, calendar as control administrative. Exact. Install weekly cadence, so rhythm outlives moods and delay loses profit. Monday planning. Choose the one promise that moves the week. Assign owner, date, test. Publish the boundary that protects it. Midweek review. 15 minutes to read green or red from the wall, not from feelings. Every item either passes its test or triggers its toll. Friday settlement. Apply costs owed, archive decisions. Send 2 lines of praise for the behavior you want repeated. Scarcity lives in the schedule. 2 ad hoc slots per week, 1 favors slot, a daily 90-minute craft block behind a posted boundary. When the world knocks, it must travel through your corridors. Product ships at 4. Miss it, and the next door opens tomorrow. Families check in Sunday night. Skip it, and the week locks without your preference. The calendar makes disobedience expensive because time is the only currency no one can counterfeit. Now, shape information geometry precise, unsentimental. Turn perception into terrain you control. Use need-to-know briefings for builders, concise summaries for deciders, headlines for the merely curious. Stagger reveals. Phase 1 aligns intent. Phase 2 locks resources. Phase 3 publishes commitments. Publish prices only when you can honor them. Show roadmaps only when critical dependencies are yours to move. Seed harmless decoys, slightly different labels, dates, or numbers per stakeholder to trace leaks. When a leak appears, the fingerprint names the source. Remove or narrow access without rage, the data speaks. Keep decisions in channels with named owners so accountability cannot dissolve in crowds. Early truth in the wrong hands becomes ammunition. Timed truth becomes order. Practice fox-lion switching realist, cold. The fox probes softly for facts. Ask narrow, verifiable questions. Who signs? What cannot slip? What budget exists today? Delay with purpose. We'll revert at 4 after internal math. Run small tests that cost them something. Email confirmation. Provide last quarter's metric. Deliver a 1-hour sample by noon. People reveal intent at low prices. Gather data without paying in commitment. The lion strikes cleanly with enforcement. No warning, no echo. When stakes are clear and the meter is running, decide, impose, move. Set price, set time, name, penalty. Standard rate holds, offer expires Friday, 5 p.m. We ship without feature C. The next window opens in 2 sprints. Break confidentiality and access ends today. No thunder, just a door that shuts. Rivals remain uncertain which animal arrived. Allies feel safe because the rules do not wobble. Maintain the status ledger orderly, no drama. Weekly, in writing, track 3 lines. Promises kept, favors returned, penalties enforced. Under promises, list deliverables with dates, tests, and stamp completion times. Misses become system fixes, smaller scope, earlier prep, clearer checklists, not confessions. The favors page maps reciprocity. Who compounds your city? Who drains it? Increase access for fast closers. Reduce access for chronic draws who never return value. On penalties, record the rule invoked, the action taken, and the date. A penalty unenforced turns you into rumor. Enforced once, it becomes policy. The ledger silences myth and mood. It proves you are expensive to betray and convenient to trust. Add the recovery protocol. Austere, humane. When you err, price it and pay it publicly. Reset the line. State the breach. Apply the cost. Publish the new rule. I promised Tuesday, delivered Thursday. I've cut the scope and added a pre-flight checklist. Next delivery Monday, 10 a.m. Build number posted. No groveling monologue. Structural change is the apology. If your gate failed, raise it so the error cannot stroll back in without paying. Allies trust you because the rail that binds them binds you. Enemies lose appetite because performance, not theater, sets price. Scenes make the mindset mechanical. A prospect begs for a discount for future volume. Fox, send a draft PO with quantities and date. Long pause. Fog remains. Lion, price stands. Contract expires Friday. You send the contract with expiration and return to work. If they vanish, you learn cheaply. If they sign, they accept your frame. A teammate undermines decisions off-channel. Fox, request a time-stamped deliverable and measure response time. If it misses, stack. Lion, decisions live in the project channel. Off-thread advice isn't actionable this cycle. Shift access and responsibilities accordingly. A friend cancels late again. Boundary. Inside 2 hours, we skip a month. Settlement. Let's try next month. The calendar remembers what mouths forget. Run a daily loop so the system survives mood. Morning. Issue 1, decision sentence with owner, date, test and guard, a 90-minute craft block with a posted boundary. Midday. Run a fox probe on the foggiest counterpart. Prepare 1 lion enforcement for the slowest decision. Afternoon. Apply any settlement owned and log it. Send 1 precise praise note for the behavior you need repeated. Friday. Update the ledger, promises kept, favors returned, penalties enforced, and tune any boundary that allows slippage. Sunday. Rehearse 2 one-line decisions aloud. Seed 1 decoy, prune access, and reset scarce windows. Rehearsal turns command into reflex when pressure rises. Understand the psychology. People respect what they can predict and move around. They resent speeches and cling to structure. When rails are visible, clocks reliable and tolls real. The forbidden mindset becomes simple. You do not argue your authority, you operate it. Frame the path, signal the turn, settle the toll, then stay quiet while the corridor persuades you. Obedience now is not a favor. It is the cheapest option. Speak once, set time, collect quietly. Men judge generally more by the eye than by the hand. You choose rails over pleading. You make the cost of delay visible and the path of action short. When expectations are posted and bills arrive, rooms quiet, scandals shrink, loyalty matures. This is not a menace. It is governance that keeps its promises without speeches. Begin with the quiet court. Agendas are short. Owners are clear. Conclusions are scheduled. You open with one-page options, costs, and a clock that does not lie. Invite objections once, record them, and close. No roaming microphones, no rescue monologues that flatter vanity and starve results. Picture your week. The stand-up ends at 15 because updates become numbers, not novels. Pre-reads arrive the night before. Live time becomes editing, not improvisation. Slack threads finish with a single name and a date. Loops of "for your information" evaporate. At home, the dinner fight becomes a Sunday rotation. One trip buys the week, and evenings return to conversation instead of negotiation. Your phone loses the right to yank your pulse at midnight. Notifications batch, and you answer on schedule. The room breathes because vagueness, chaos's favorite accomplice, has no chair. Serenity is engineered, not wished. Make the order legible so it survives weather. Publish who decides, who advises, who observes before heat rises. Put decisions in writing so memory cannot lie. Stamp start and finish times, then keep them. Reward the bringer of unpleasant truth faster than the singer of sweet music. Surface errors early while they are cheap. Log wins with names and dates, so credit follows craft, not volume. Price misbehavior in advance and settle it once. Interrupt twice. Lose the floor for a cycle. Miss a deadline without cause. Move to the back of the queue. Leak a draft. Lose access for a month. No tantrum, no theater, just gravity posted and predictable. Now, loyalty that survives weather. You trade applause for continuity. Treat similar cases similarly, even when rumor begs for a glittering exception. Pay on time, praise in public, correct in private. Publish criteria before picking winners, then keep them when a favorite loses. Your yes is scarce and your no is clean. Forgive once with instruction attached. The second time brings consequence without insult. People learn they can bet on your pattern, not your temper. The flatterers drift because novelty starves in a disciplined room. Builders stay because standards feed them. Trust thickens, not because you perform anger or charm, but because you are the same on Monday and Friday, in sunlight and in rain. Expect modern tests. A client waves a large following and demands a hidden discount. You decline with reasons fit for a stage and offer terms anyone could accept. Your team sees noise cannot buy you. Their trust tightens. A report slips delivery. You lower your voice, name the gap between promise and result, define the remedy, and schedule the checkback. Improvement follows the path, not the tantrum. An insider whispers, "Just this once." You keep the gate shut, not from cruelty, but from duty to the many who built their plans on rules that must not move. Word spreads that your ledger speaks louder than your defense. Even critics adjust because their schemes cannot out-earn your structure. Finally, continuity as mercy, a city that keeps its mornings. Lights rise in kitchen windows, buses arrive, shops lift shutters. Children cross calm streets watched by guards bored enough to gossip about weather. That boredom is victory. It means your boundaries worked while you slept. Paychecks are clear. Policies match practice. People schedule next month without divining your mood. The diligent are protected from the loud. the honest from the cunning, the steady from the schemer who thrives only when lines wobble. Planning beats pleading because rails remove the market for panic. Carry it forward. Write messages that fit on one breath. Enter meetings with a draft decision so debate sharpens, not stalls. Keep review cadences so feedback is steady rather than explosive. When conflict arrives, lower your volume and raise your specificity numbers, dates, terms. Protect the loyal with coverage plans, clear roles, and deadlines that survive weather. When rails are known and bills arrive, rooms quiet, scandals shrink, and loyalty matures because people can plan around your edges and win. Post the rails, settle the bill, keep the morning.